If you're an indoor cat owner, do you actually know which of your daily habits could be deadly for your cat? You keep them inside to protect them. And yes, that's the right choice. But here's what most people miss. Some of the deadliest threats to your cat aren't just outside. They're hiding in your everyday routines, in things you do without thinking twice. And most owners are making at least one of these mistakes right now without even realizing it. Let's start with the one that could be sitting on your kitchen counter. Toxic plants and flowers hiding in plain sight. Did you know some of the most common house plants in the world could send your cat into organ failure? Let's start with the worst offender, lilies. That beautiful bouquet sitting on your kitchen counter. For cats, true lilies are so toxic they don't even need to chew a leaf. Drinking the vase water or licking pollen off their coat while grooming can trigger fatal kidney failure. The FDA and Pet Poison Helpline warn that every part of the plant is dangerous. And by the time symptoms show, like vomiting, lethargy, and loss of appetite, the kidneys may already be shutting down. But lilies are just the famous one. Pothose, that trailing vine in half the homes on the planet, burns your cat's mouth and throat with microscopic crystals. Aloe vera, the plant you keep for your skin, causes vomiting and tremors in cats. Sago palms can cause liver failure. Even tulips and azaleas make the list. The ASPCA's toxic plant database counts over 400 plants dangerous to cats. And odds are at least one of them is in your home right now. The good news, this mistake is one of the easiest in this video to fix. Before you buy your next plant, take 2 minutes to check the ASPCA's toxic plant database. I'll leave the link in the description below in case you're curious. It's free and it might be the cheapest life insurance your cat will ever have. But not every mistake is this easy to spot. The most dangerous one of all is still coming, and it's the one almost nobody recognizes as a mistake. We'll get there at the end of this video. Leaving windows and balconies unsecured. Have you ever heard that cats always land on their feet? That little myth sends thousands of cats to emergency rooms every single year. Veterinarians even have a name for it, high-rise syndrome. And here's the part that surprises most people. Your indoor cat is actually in more danger near an open window than an outdoor cat, because they have zero experience judging heights, and their hunting instinct doesn't care how high up they are. A bird lands on the railing, a moth flutters past the screen, and in that split second, your cat's brain sees prey. Not a 5-story drop. This isn't rare, either. A famous study from the Animal Medical Center in New York looked at 132 cats that fell from high-rise buildings. And while most survived with treatment, the injuries were brutal. Shattered jaws, broken legs, collapsed lungs, and it spikes every spring and summer, the exact moment we all start opening windows for fresh air. Even worse, many owners trust window screens to hold. But a loose or old screen can pop out with one solid push from a determined cat. The fix costs almost nothing. Check that every screen is actually secured, not just sitting in the frame. If you have a balcony, never let your cat out there unsupervised, or install cat netting if you want to give them safe access. One afternoon of cat-proofing buys you years of open windows without the quiet fear in the back of your mind. And hey, if this is making you rethink a few things in your home, hit like and subscribe so we can share it with more cat lovers who'd want to catch these mistakes before it's too late. String, ribbon, and hair ties left out. What if I told you the most dangerous toy in your house is probably the one your cat loves the most? String, ribbon, yarn, hair ties, shoelaces, even dental floss pulled from the trash. To your cat, these are irresistible. To a veterinary surgeon, they're called linear foreign bodies. And they're some of the most feared objects a cat can swallow. Here's why. When a cat swallows something long and thin, one end often gets anchored, sometimes under the tongue, sometimes in the stomach. Then the intestines do what they always do. They keep pushing, but the string can't move. So instead, the gut bunches up around it like fabric on a drawstring. And with every contraction, that string slowly saws through the intestinal wall from the inside. Once it perforates, bacteria leak into the abdomen, and without emergency surgery, it turns fatal fast. And cats are uniquely vulnerable to this. Their tongues are covered in backward-facing barbs, the same ones that make their grooming so effective. Once a string catches on those barbs, your cat physically can't spit it out. Their own anatomy forces them to keep swallowing. It was never a choice. The fix is simple awareness. Hair ties go in a drawer, not the nightstand. Yarn and ribbon get packed away after use. And string toys get stored out of reach between play sessions because those strings are just as dangerous unsupervised. One important warning: if you ever see string hanging from your cat's mouth or from under their tail, never pull it. You could cause the exact damage we just talked about. Call your vet immediately instead. The water bowl mistake. Be honest with me for a second. Is your cat's water bowl sitting right next to their food bowl? If it is, you're making one of the most common mistakes in this entire video, and almost nobody knows it's a mistake at all. Here's the thing about cats. They descended from desert animals, and they inherited an incredibly low thirst drive. Your cat can be quietly dehydrated for years and never once act thirsty. And chronic dehydration is one of the silent forces behind two of the biggest killers of indoor cats, kidney disease and urinary blockages. Now, why does the bowl placement matter? In the wild, cats instinctively avoid drinking near their kill because water close to food could be contaminated. That instinct never left. Many cats drink less simply because the water sits inches from their dinner. And still, water itself is part of the problem. Cats are wired to trust moving water, which their instincts read as fresh. It's why your cat ignores a full bowl, but comes running when you turn on the faucet. Research on feline drinking behavior has found that many cats show a clear preference for water fountains. And hydration matters so much that veterinary studies have linked increased water intake to fewer crystals in the urine. And if your cat eats mostly dry food, this multiplies. A mouse, which is what a cat would naturally eat, is about 70% water. Dry kibble sits around 10%. So your cat is losing the moisture nature built into their meals while barely feeling the urge to make up the difference. The fix: move the water away from the food. Try a fountain and consider adding wet food to their routine. Small changes, but they protect the organs that fail most often in cats. Overfeeding out of love. So, what is the most dangerous mistake of all? The one that doesn't look like a mistake. Look at your cat right now. If they're anything like most indoor cats, the answer is already sitting in front of you. It's the extra scoop of kibble, the treats every time they meow, the full bowl that never goes empty, because a full bowl feels like a loved cat. This is the mistake that looks like love, and it's quietly shortening more feline lives than almost anything else in this video. The numbers are hard to ignore. The Association for Pet Obesity Prevention has found that roughly 6 in 10 cats in the United States are overweight or obese. That's the majority, which means statistically the overfed cat isn't the exception. It's the default. And the consequences stack up silently. Diabetes, arthritis that turns a climbing, jumping athlete into a cat that just watches, heart strain, and a shorter lifespan overall. But here's the part most owners have never heard, and it's the scariest one. An overweight cat that suddenly stops eating because of stress, illness, or even a food change can develop hepatic lipidosis, also called fatty liver disease. The body floods the liver with stored fat faster than it can process, and the liver begins to fail. It can turn deadly in a matter of days, and overweight cats are the ones most at risk. And the deepest part of this mistake: your cat doesn't experience food as love. That's our language, not theirs. What your cat actually craves from you is play, attention, and moments of connection. When they meow at you, food is just the answer that works fastest. So, measure their meals. Use those hunting-style puzzle feeders that make food feel earned. And when they cry for attention, try 5 minutes of play before reaching for the treats. Because the goal was never a shorter, fuller life. It was more years of them beside you.